JJ Ortega-Whiteside, he has the measurables too, but he doesn't know how to play football, right? So
No, no, that's for sure.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they've been going for the small, speedy guys, which sometimes are hit or miss. So
Yeah, they're trying to find a young Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, with that, I think that concludes our that. How do I say that? That saddening talk about the Eagles.
It's
Hopefully,
tragic, man. It's tragic.
oh, I don't know with
gradually,
that 7-8-1 record you gave him to finish the year. I don't know what to like hope for. Hope for like a good playoff push for them, or just them to fold in and call it a year and get a draft pick. But yeah, with that, Alan, why don't you introduce our second topic of the day?
yeah. So one of the big topics that we wanted to discuss, and we know that having someone on the show, our podcast, that has experience in minor league hockey, especially because he's been in it for so long and he's been at different levels. Like shout out to the Dorchester Dolphins and like also Junior B hockey. So Adam, before just to introduce the topic for you, and I know that it's something that you even brought the idea to us, which is really awesome. And it's about like the lack of diversity when it comes to minor league sports and like especially in your case in minor league hockey, and that is obviously been something that's been big when you hear about even on Sportsnet they talked about Akeem Alou's tweets that started uh, a stronger push for more inclusion. Like yeah, minor, like what is your experience, Adam? Like did you really see any minorities playing with you coming up? Like we're not that old, but I mean like things are changing now, but probably when you were in like junior leagues, like it must have been different. So what do you got?
Yeah. So I had never actually played with a minority or person of color on any of my teams. There's a few coming up that I remember that were really good. Couple made it to the NHL actually. Josh Hosang, I remember he was a really good player. But I think it's it's got to start at the grassroots level because hockey's tough sport to pick up when you're like 14 years old. Because first of all, you have to learn how to skate and stuff like that. So I think hockey has a problem with making it more accessible because it's an expensive sport. So I think where they need to start is kind of starting some grassroots hockey leagues, like even house league, just to get like people on the ice and see if they like it. And then if they like it, they can go on and go on if they have the talent to do so. But yeah, I think if they could lower the prices somehow or start some foundations that give kids ice time, well, I think that'd be a big help for getting more people into hockey
Mhm.
because they've been struggling with it for years.
And adding on to that, and I know you said ice time is important, but would you feel like it would have the same kind of effect if it was even like ball hockey leagues were more like prominent? If it would, or would that ice time be more important as a young player? Or could you get that same kind of feel for the stick and the game through ball hockey? Or well, for example, I guess road hockey is the same thing, but yeah, I'm still wondering.
Yeah, I think even yeah, like ball hockey or road hockey would be great just because sorry. Um it just because it's the same rules. So it gets them familiar with the sport regardless of stepping on the ice. So if they realize that they like it, then hey, maybe the family says, okay, well maybe this is a sport my son would like to play or daughter would like to play on the ice. And then just giving like kids skating lessons or like because I know I loved it as soon as I started skating. So like I think if people are exposed to it and get to understand the rules and how it's played and how to shoot and pass and all that and the rules, I think a lot of people would fall in love with it because it's a great game. It's a lot of fun, high paced, and yeah, you make some lifelong bonds with any sport.
Okay. What I want to say, Adam, to you, and I just coming up with it right now. I got two. It's a two-part question, and oh, it's gonna dig deep. So
Okay.
let's go. So number one, on the topic of minorities. So, and I'll tell you both of the questions, and then you just attack it how you want to. So number one, Adam. So do you think that like minorities are a bit like intimidated to go into hockey, especially because it's not really as like obviously not really accessible in some cases when it comes to like finances, but also because like you have a kid who just immigrated to Canada, he's more likely to play soccer. His homies are gonna play soccer or basketball. Like, is it like if finances were there, would like do you think that some of them are just a little bit like shy to like be that one kid who goes out? And then the second question is like, how big do you think is the importance of like a role model, right? Like you have the new diversity like leadership group in the NHL, right? Trying to be like role models for different like ethnicities. And yeah, do you think that's something that could make a difference? Obviously, but yeah, two questions. Let's go.
I think the two questions kind of mesh like together, because if you see someone in a position where they're excelling at the sport, I think they're more inclined to maybe pick that up. Like representation matters, and it's like, oh, that person looks like me, and they're in the NHL, so I can do that. And I think we've seen a little bit of it. Obviously, needs to be more of it. But with Quentin Byfield being drafted second overall, being an African American Canadian or African Canadian, sorry, and he looked up to PK Subban, Wayne Simmons, and guys like that. So if you see the representation and people making it, then I think if the finances are viable and they have access to do it, I think they're more likely to pick up a hockey stick as opposed to a basketball or a soccer ball or whatever. And I think that's a big thing that we need to see some more role models for kids that may be a little intimidated getting into what has been a traditionally white man and white woman sport.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Les, what do you think?
Yeah, it's like I've always like wanted to try hockey, and then you're at school, and like we've all played mini sticks, and I always enjoyed playing hockey when we were in gym class. And like when you're in class, a lot of the books you're reading are about hockey. It's like the culture's about hockey. You're reading, you're probably doing a project on like a hockey great, like that's how I like from a guy that was like a Montreal fan, that's what I always enjoyed. I was a big Alex Kovalev guy, Cycle Kovu back in the day. And then so when PK Subban was in Montreal, I would like, that was when I was at the peak of my NHL fandom. But then when he got traded, I was kind of like, oh, like I'm not sure how you feel about obviously there's like the business aspects of like protecting Carey Price and so on. But yeah, to me it was like, there goes my the one guy that that was like electrifying, that was like that role model really. And like trying to follow him into Nashville was just not the same. But yeah, I feel like having those role models are important, and it really just like any sport. You see how Yao Ming did for the NBA. You see how Luka Doncic is going to do for all those European players. You like, it's important to Giannis, same thing internationally. Siakam, Hakeem Olajuwon, like the list goes on of how like representation matters, and it brings along the people that that are going to have their backs in terms of just, wow, like this could be me. And I didn't know about the NHL's new what do you say, the new group? What's it called again?
Alan, I don't know the exact name of it, but a group of players have commit the hockey diversity alliance, I believe, something like
Okay,
something along those lines.
And like that's important because like hockey is like how do I say, is a part of the Canadian identity. And I always felt like not playing hockey was like always like I didn't get to like fully experience that Canadian identity as much as I would have loved to, just because in terms of just like it's a Canadian experience going like when all of my boys are like out doing like bush league and stuff. It's like, man, like I wish I would have that, because it's just like basketball leagues that I do right now. It's like for fun, and but like that's just hopefully with these initiatives, that's going to go a long way. And, I'm hoping to be able to bring that kind of change in our city, obviously, and with London and Sports Connect. So I
Let's
know
go.
exactly where I'm going to be knocking when, well, I guess getting skates out there is for skate nice time, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I can help you out with that too.
Yeah. Actually, I want to add we have a partnership with the London Ball Hockey Club. So that's once things open up a little bit more, I think we might have to take that call, and you might have to lead the hockey division at Sports Connect.
Sounds good, man. We'll put the kids through some drills, and we'll turn them into stars in no time.
Nice. Sounds good. All right, what you got?
Yeah. So what I want to dig into here before I toss it over to Adam to get, I guess, his parting thoughts on this is that like you guys said, it's important to have role models and people that set examples for you, because sometimes it can be difficult to actually be the one to step out of the crowd and be the one that is the leader for other people, right? Like setting an example is such a big thing, Adam. And I know that, like, even in Bluska, because both of you guys played sports at a more like higher level than like the house league or the programs that people sign up for. So like you guys have that experience of like seeing what it means to have a leader, someone that can step out and who is not afraid to set an example for someone who may not want to, or who may actually want to try. Like you might have a friend, because like we're lucky to have such a diverse friend group, and just being able to see like what each other like does or what does differently, it might make us like open our minds a little bit, right? And yeah, and if you're stuck in you just come to Canada or something and you're like, hey, I want to, like, I see these guys playing this one game and I want to try it too, but none of my friends are doing it. Like, I don't know if I should try, right? But maybe you should take that example. And Adam, I think, I don't know, like I feel like this is totally unrelated, but when I think of setting an example, and sometimes I think about Connor McDavid, and sometimes it makes me it reminds me of the story that you tell us about how you like ended his career in a way, or get in his career. And like that could be anyone, that could be some little kid from like a diverse background. He could have been the kid who hit Connor McDavid on his butt in like grade 8 or something. So like that's the type of thing that people should strive towards. So Adam, Connor McDavid, how did you do that? How did you, like, damn.
Okay, first of all, you're giving me too much credit. I think I started his career, and he realized he's way better than me. And we were also a little bit younger than grade 8. This is we were about 10 years old. We were playing in a tournament. This is a provincial semifinals, I think. And Connor is a year younger than I am, and he's actually playing with the older kids because he's so much better than everyone. But it's he was along the boards, and I went for the hit and hit him a little bit too much from behind, and ended up getting suspended. But that's my cool hockey story, I guess, to see where he's gone to and how dominant of a player he is now. But it's pretty cool to be able to say that I've seen him since he's been about 8 years old playing hockey, and he was as good back then as he is now.